I'm the biggest contributor to I didn't graduate college. I have no degree. There's no degrees hanging up on this wall. Even for not going to college and not graduating, not having a degree in this field, just the pure want. Like, I want this, and the drive. You can do anything with 1 ounce of drive.
Hey, it's a beautiful day. My name is Brent, a.k.a. the Traveling Tinner, and I will be your host of the first ever TAKEOVER episode of the Dark But Legal podcast, here with Chase and Blake. And today's guest stands in at a staggering 5 foot 9 inches, weighing in at 185 pounds. He's 30 years old from Louisiana. Chase Loupe.
Yeah, he Frenched it up for me, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go. That fired me up.
How was that, dude?
That was good.
Took me, how was that, 3 takes?
That was 3.
Not bad, not
bad.
I'll take it. I didn't know what to do with my hands, though. That was a problem.
I never know what to do with my hands.
Yeah, like
I'm like a Will Ferrell's character, Ricky Bobby. Ricky Bobby, you know. Never know what to do with my hands.
Right. I feel that. I like how we all got right leg up. So, like,
it's a science.
Yeah.
Like,
we have to agree when to switch the left leg.
No, it just happens. It's one by one.
Okay.
It's like it just follows. It's a science, though. I mean, every podcast we've had 3 people on, it's always switched throughout the show, back and forth and back and forth.
That makes sense.
It's funnier watching all the footage back.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh shit, we did that like that. Why do we do that?
That's awesome. So the whole purpose of the takeover idea is really to give you the opportunity to kind of share your story. Obviously, we see you on every episode as the host, but don't really know your story. So I think it's gonna be exciting to kind of hear what Chase has got for a background and stuff. I kind of want to start all the way back to high school, and I want to work our way up to now. Like, I just want to hear your life summary of how you got to where you are today.
Okay, so you want to start at high school?
Yeah, let's start in high school, man. Tell me about high school. Were you in any sports or like clubs or anything crazy?
Yeah, so when I started high school in 2009, and around that time, so 2007 was whenever Steve Jobs introduced the iPhone. Okay. So my 8th grade year, going into 9th grade, was whenever we all went from Razors and Blackberries and everything to iPhone was coming out.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty cool thing to see, you know, because born in 1994, growing up, and I was in the era, but wasn't in the era of the technology boom. So, like, I didn't have a cell phone really growing up until I got, you know, in the late middle school. We had an old gateway computer, dial-up, everything still. AT&T was singular wireless, everything. So it was pretty cool to see the technology advancement, you know, in that era. Getting into high school, I thought that I really wanted to do something in technology, you know, with computers or computer science or something like that. And random enough, when we went to, I don't know if it happens in every high school, but at East Ascension, the high school that I went to, there is a thing where you walk around and you kind of get to see all of the courses that are available. So they'll show you like, oh, here's all the sports, here's, you know, the trades you could go do, here's welding, you could do this and that or whatever. And funny enough, what caught my eye wasn't even anything to do with computers. It was theater.
Really?
It was theater.
I can see that.
So theater really caught my eye, and I was like, man, you know, this seems kind of interesting to me. And at the time that I was in high school, it was still kind of one of those, like, bullying was still a really big thing, you know? So, like, if you're in theater class or whatever, you get picked on and all that type of shit. And so it was kind of scary for me. I was like, man, you know, I don't know if I want to do theater because all my friends are playing sports.
Yeah.
And I played baseball from when I was 3 years old all the way into high school. I was always into baseball. So if you know, if the Red Sox or the Astros have an opening, I'm a great shortstop. I'm 5'9", 185 pounds. If you want to pick me up, give me a phone call. I'll come play for you guys. had to plug in. But no, you know, baseball has been a big part of my life. And so I was like, if I go into theater, then I might get made fun of. You know, people will be like, you know, what are you doing or whatever. And
That sucks, doesn't it? You got to worry about that as a kid.
It does, you know, because growing up, you know, my dad was never there. My mom was kind of in and out, and I lived with my grandparents my whole life. So it was like kind of fight or flight. You know, what do you want to do with your life? What do you want to be and everything? And so I decided, I was like, I'm going to do theater. I'm going to get into it. I'm going to see what it's like, kind of fuck what everybody else says type of mentality. Well, when I got into theater, what was cool was there was a coach. His name was Dirk Shake Snyder, and everybody called him Coach Shake.
Can you say that one more time?
Dirk Shake Snyder.
Dirk, like D-I-R-K?
D-I-R-K, yeah.
Okay.
Shake Snyder.
Okay.
And he coached tennis, but he was this real goofy dude. So, like, every pep rally that we had, he was the guy that put the pep rally on. And at EA, it was really cool because they did, like, all the kids that were in the video production like department and everything, they shot all these like really nice videos for pep rallies. And it would either be, you know, Coach Shake going around and stealing the Santa Maria mascot, which is our big rival school. He would like steal their mascot or like do some funny stuff. And at this time, that song, the Harlem Shake, was like real popular. So like for one of the pep rallies, they did the Harlem Shake thing, and they did it with the whole school. So it was like really cool. Nice. And so I knew he was a tennis coach. So I was like, you know, if he's doing all this funny stuff and he's a tennis coach and he kind of works with the theater department, then maybe I'll just do both. So I did that my freshman year. I took theater classes, and then my sport that I played, because I didn't make the baseball team for high school, because I found out real fast that high school athletics is all about how much your parents make.
Oh, really? That's unfortunate.
So no matter how good I was, didn't make the DA baseball team, and I really hope some of the coaches watch this because y'all knew I was good.
Mm-hmm. Sure, buddy.
So yeah, I started tennis freshman year, started theater.
Tennis?
Yep.
Tennis and theater.
Big tennis guy, huh?
Tennis
Hell
and theater. Yeah, because I figured baseball, you're swinging a motion like that, and I figured how hard could tennis be?
Yeah.
And actually, it was super fun. It was a very hard sport, but I was really good at it. Freshman year, I made the varsity team because I got JV and then varsity or whatever. So I made the varsity tennis team, and you know, went on my junior and senior year. We went to the state championship both times. So I got 2 state patches in tennis.
Wow.
We lost to Jesuit both years. Private school out in New Orleans.
Really?
Oh, them kids were killer, dude.
The only ones that could get you, or what?
Only ones that could get us.
No kidding.
It's not saying much.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, so I have pictures of myself, you know, at the state championship and everything. So I'll try to find them, and I'll get Caden to put some little clips of me at the state championship.
Just eating shit whenever you trip or what?
No, actually, I only ate shit one time. And so there's a move in tennis. It's called lobbing the ball.
Okay.
And you know you're playing against people who can't play tennis when all they do is lob the ball over the net.
Okay.
They get so scared. Yeah, high and slow. They get so scared that they just hit the ball over the net. Well, me, I love those people because I played men's doubles. Okay. So I was, you know, you have somebody on the baseline and then somebody at the net.
Yeah.
And every time I was at the net, somebody lobbed the ball, I'll just hit it back as hard as I could, just releasing all my anger. And I remember this kid, you know, he kept lobbing the ball, and I just smoked, and it right in his face, bam, right in his mouth. And his mom was all mad and everything, but wah, wah. Yeah, exactly, wah, wah. But there was nobody who can compete with us. I had a very good teammate my junior year. His name was Alfonso Rodriguez, and then my senior year, I had a kid. He was a sophomore at the time. I can't remember his name, but Alfonso was really good at tennis. He was I can't remember his ethnicity, but he was either Mexican or something like that. And the kid was phenomenal at tennis.
Just good, huh?
He was just goated, dude.
Nice.
Because if you weren't in private school and you played tennis or something like Santa Maria, Dutchtown, all them kids, you could tell that they didn't really care about playing tennis. They just did it as either they needed extra credit or they wanted to play a sport or whatever, and they wanted to feel included. Because when you serve and everything, you're trying to hit it as fast as you can into the square. Man, these kids are just, you know, bink, and everything like that. So it was a fun experience for me because I actually cared about it. I took lessons every week.
Competitive.
I was very competitive.
Nice.
And still to this day, and Burns, if you watch this, Burns thinks he could beat me in tennis.
Really? You haven't put that to the test? All
No,
these
he
years?
smoked me in ping pong.
That's not saying much either because that man is insane at ping pong.
He is insane at ping pong. Do not test that man's ping pong skills. But tennis,
You think you got him?
I'll whoop his ass.
All right.
I will
Challenge.
whoop his ass. Challenge right.
official.
But he keeps wanting me to drive to some location or whatever.
It's got to be home court.
Yeah,
advantage
exactly.
type of
Home
stuff.
court advantage. It's very weird to
So you want him
me.
to drive 3 hours and then beat you?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's pretty crazy. I wouldn't do that if I was him. I'd make you come to my backyard.
No,
to be
I'm
a
not.
quick
I'm not-
defeat.
No, it wouldn't be quick. Tennis is very.
I think Burns would put a quick defeat.
I would
on
have
you,
to
though.
get off the cigarettes and go work out on a treadmill before I can go play tennis again.
Too much work.
Too much work.
Hey, I got a question about tennis.
Go ahead.
So, like on TV, like Selena, you know, and all the go-getters, they're just like screaming when they're smacking.
Oh, yeah.
Just, yeah.
I used to do that.
You did that?
Oh, 100%.
Is it voluntary? Are you choosing to do that, or does it just come out?
So, funny enough, at first, I used to make fun of those people. I was always like, why are they grunting like that, dude?
Yeah.
There was even a kid I played. So there's a private school in Baton Rouge called Catholic High.
Yeah.
And, you know, depending on what the matchup was determined if you played singles or doubles. Singles is obviously just one man versus another man.
Yeah.
And I played this kid in singles, and dude, he was just running around the court. And I was sitting there like, what are you doing, dude? I'm over here, you know, in La La Land just hitting the ball back and forth. And then I realized that the more competitive the match got, like the more stressed you were, it's just like an involuntary reaction to let a noise out while you're just exerting all your force.
Makes sense.
Because there was one game whenever my junior year, like I said, was my first state tournament that we actually progressed to. And I can't remember the name of the school, but we played one school. And, dude, they were hard to beat because you play like sets. So, you know, you have love, 15, 30, 40 is your points. But then, like, you win the set. And you got to play like 6 sets. So it's like the best of 6. So you're sitting there playing tennis for a while, and you're running back and forth the whole time. Yeah. And I remember it was like 4-4. You know, we were both even, and I was so tired, dude. And at that time, I wore contacts, and I even had to take my contacts out because my sweat was just messing my contacts up. So I took my contacts out at this point. I could barely see anything, and I had a ball hit to me, and I just, with everything in me, just knocked it over, and I was like, whoa. Where'd that come from? I'm over here grunting now, so I just followed it through.
That's when shit got serious.
Roar, you know.
Hell yeah!
And
then you
then
start winning championships.
Oh, 100%. Then I'd start messing with people, grunting like a woman and stuff. Oh, dude, it was great. I'd be out there.
I could like those turtles.
Yeah, it got fun.
That's awesome.
It got fun.
Hell yeah! So theater, tennis.
Yep.
So you like the star of the play in the theater? Like what
No.
the theater consist of?
I never wanted to be the star.
Yeah.
I've just always liked to, like I said, with the technology thing, it's always been something for me because you have to think when iPhones and stuff came out, you know, that's when the whole app thing got real big. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, YouTube started getting big. Yeah. So me and my buddies were like, oh, let's start a YouTube channel and everything. And there's still videos of me from way back in the day.
No shit, they're still out there?
Oh, 100%. You could look up, like if you just search Chase Loupe, I'm pretty sure there's my old channel.
Okay.
There was this comedian named Ed Bassmaster who used to do pranks. Yeah. So we used to watch Ed Bassmaster and we would go do that. Like we bought the little fart can.
Really?
So we'd go, there's videos of us like going into Walmart, just, you know, buy people and everything. It was hilarious. But
so you were the people that everyone hated.
100%. Awesome. But nowadays, kids take pranks way too far.
Oh yeah.
They take it way too far. Like back in the day, it was you know, easy stuff, not really stuff like that. Now they're like chunking soda cans at people's heads.
Today we're throwing a propane tank in somebody's house and lighting it on fire.
Exactly. Like we were thinking of that shit back in the day, but so that all started kind of my journey. I've always loved being behind the camera. Yeah. Just because, you know, I never imagined. What's funny is with theater, you can't see anybody. So like everybody always gets stage fright, but the lights are so bright on you that the whole crowd is literally black.
Really?
It's all a shadow.
I didn't know that.
So you can't see anyone.
Interesting.
even staring at you or anything. You can't see anyone. So it's always just been natural to me, and I've always loved entertaining people and everything.
Yeah.
So I just figured, theater would go hand in hand with what we used to do in middle school, growing up, getting into high school. Like, it'd be fun. I like to entertain people. Let me just get from behind the camera, get on the stage. And I remember freshman year we did Aladdin.
Okay.
And the teacher had asked us if anybody wanted to be Aladdin, but he had singing parts. And I'm not very good at singing. I'm okay, but I'm not very good. So I let this other guy sing. And when it came up to thinking of other parts, Jafar has his little parrot that always follows him around in the movie.
You were the parrot?
I was the parrot. So we made a paper mache parrot, and I was him for the whole play. So I did the voice and everything.
No shit.
And I was Jafar's parrot and all that.
Cool.
And what's funny is after the play, because the dude that played Aladdin, he was great. When him and whoever the girl was, when they sang The Whole New World and all that, like all the parents were like, oh my God, that's so amazing. But after the play, everybody was coming up to me, dude, you had us dying laughing. Yeah. You had us rolling, bro. And it was people that I'm in class with. Yeah. That's when it gets scary, when your classmates are watching you and you're like, man, are they gonna call me gay after this? Like what are they gonna talk about me about? But they were all like, dude, you were awesome. Like that was so cool. And so freshman year we did Aladdin. That next year we did just personality. So like I was a redneck dude. We had like the Barbie California chick or whatever. So we did some personality stuff. And then my junior year, we actually got to go to the Ascension Community Theater, which is our parish. We're in the parish of Ascension. They have a community theater, and we did like a Midnight Summer's Dream or whatever that play is. Somebody's gonna definitely correct me on that.
Yeah,
it was a Midnight Summer's Eve or something. It was a book. Then we did To Kill a Mockingbird. We've done other big plays. We did Hamlet. Some other big production stuff that I got to be a part of.
That's cool.
So it all just really, it all meant a lot to me. My favorite in theater, though, and my aunt will be able to tell you, so there's a club in New Orleans that you could do improv.
Okay.
And improv was my absolute favorite. So we used to do improv nights on Wednesday nights.
Really?
And I loved improv.
Yeah. I can see that.
It was my absolute favorite.
I could totally see that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Still to this day, I love watching old, like Whose Line Is It Anyway and stuff. Yeah. I've always wanted, that is, if I could be on any TV show, it would be that.
That's the one.
I love Whose Line Is It Anyway.
Hell yeah.
My absolute favorite.
So you're good at improv. Are you good at like impressions or like, you got like different like voices or characters? Anything cool you do? Yeah.
So when I was younger, like teenage years, I used to love watching TV, Family Guy, South Park, Ren and Stimpy, all that stuff. And it's something about me, I just love trying to figure out how somebody can sound like that.
Yeah.
Because we all have vocal cords and everything, but like singers, they can make their vocal cords do different stuff, especially if you're a screamer or whatever, I've always liked seeing why somebody can make their voice high pitched, or how do they do this, or how do they train their voice to do that. Yeah. So I used to sit there and like one of my best ones is Meatwad from Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Meatwad.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I used to sit there and watch Aqua Teen Hunger Force with my cousin, and I would always hear that voice, and I was like, how do you just make your voice scratch like that but sound deep?
Yeah.
And like it's not how the person actually sounds. So I would sit there, and most voices actually complement each other. So the way I figured out Meatwad was I can actually do, it's not the best, but I could do like an Elmo. Okay. So like a really high-pitched Elmo. Yeah. So I would sit there and I would listen to Sesame Street and everything and how Elmo talked and how he like made his A's and B's. And then I would take my tongue and kind of like fold it in the back of my throat. Yeah. And I'd figure out I could do it. So I'd sit there and I'd just be talking, and then I would try to stick my tongue in the back of my throat.
No way.
And then say, hey, Elmo loves you. Hi, Brent Dahlberg.
Oh, my God, it's dead on.
Welcome to the Dahlberg League. And then, so upon doing that, I was like, well, shit, if I can do that, then what else can I do? Yeah. Just from listening to stuff like that. And Meatwad came super easy because it's the same concept, but you just add some growl in there. say you be sitting there, and then, you'd,
Yeah, hey Carl, hey man, you just come on back over here. We just gonna have some hot dogs. And,
I wish I knew the show so I could say
oh
if you're
yeah,
doing good or not.
we go. It's pretty good. You're gonna have to go watch a YouTube video on it or something, cause I'd say it's pretty spot on. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
We'll do a comparison after this. Don't worry.
Is that the
100%.
tongue fold you're doing back there to get the tongue fold I heard
so
about?
like your tongue goes, pretty much all the way down your throat.
Yeah.
So it's basically like just folding your tongue, but in the lower section of your throat, kind of by your Adam's apple. It's
How'd
the
you figure
weirdest.
that out? You just started moving your
doing
tongue
it.
around?
Just doing it. So you know how most people can like if I tell you to click your tongue, people would click their tongue like that, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, you click your tongue.
Yeah.
I do shit different. That's what I'm saying. Like I like thinking of weird different ways to do stuff. So I could do something which I call either like frog tongue or like tongue drop.
Okay.
So you take your tongue and instead of clicking it on the roof of your mouth, like going down like that, you just kind of drop it in the back of your throat. So it's like
Much deeper sound.
much deeper. But that's
I'm
little.
uncomfortable right now.
Exactly. It makes you feel uneasy.
I don't know why I had to do 5 back to
Yeah, I
back
know.
like that.
Get
That's
like
a
one
little-
or two.
Yeah,
Weird, quirky things about Chase, man.
I'm learning a lot today. I like it. So you got Elmo, you got Meatwad. You do any other specialties?
Me
You
what?
got-
No, I don't think I'm good at them. But it's the funny thing, like any impressionist, they always do certain people or whatever. They try to find their vocal range.
Yeah.
But it would just be stupid shit. Like I'd be watching Joe Dirt, and you got I can't remember his name, but the one that everybody tries to impersonate, and he's like, you're messing with my man Joe Dirt.
Oh yeah.
It's been so
You
long
do it
since I've seen
again.
that movie.
What the hell is his
I'm
name?
gonna stick an iron in your forehead, But I would just try to do stuff like that, whether I'm good at it or not. It's something in me that I just like trying to sound like other people. I do the same thing with songs, and that's why I don't think I'm good at singing. I'm great at karaoke because obviously anybody's great at karaoke.
Yeah.
But like if you listen to a song, the reason I can't sing is because I try to sound like the other person too much.
Oh sure.
Yeah. So I could never do like American Idol. I could never be my own singer because I don't know what my sound is.
Sure.
I would always try to sound like somebody else that I've heard.
You a good singer, Blake?
He's an excellent singer. Are you serious?
I feel like he would be.
No,
Dude, he
not
would
at
be.
I
all.
think he would be.
As
Not
soon
in the
as he
slightest.
starts singing, I don't know where it comes from, but there's a fan that just starts blowing on his mullet.
No shit.
I swear to God.
Is there any lights or anything, or just?
Oh,
the
dude,
fan?
yeah. Like pyrotechnics and stuff go off.
I did not realize that.
Hell yeah, dude.
Must
That
have not been
hair.
there.
Do the little shake thing again. Ooh.
I don't know what it is, man. It's you and Cub. It's got to be something with being bald. You just really love the long hair.
Yeah, I'm overcome with envy every time I see you. You
and
walk in
Cubby
the room,
Gross.
I'm like, man, I remember them days.
Yeah?
I never had them days, but I had like them days. You know what I mean?
These days almost look like those days.
That's days where you need to get a haircut.
This is 100% haircut days.
Yeah. You going to grab a haircut
No.
anytime soon?
We're just going to shave him in the parking lot.
I was going to go get one before we left tomorrow for our trip, but
Nah.
time. And my old lady hates long hair.
Oh, really?
She loves when I have my
He
hair
has
cut.
plenty of time.
I
to get
am
his
a
haircut. He's just too lazy to go do it.
no.
Want me to get you a high and tight? I do a high and tight.
So I'm a beard fade number 2.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I see that.
Beard fade number 2. That's what I get every time, and it costs me $75.
Dang.
See, I thought I knew I'd get it.
$75.
$75.
You know, a fancy place.
Yeah, I go to a fancy place.
Nice.
Comes with a shot of whiskey, but I don't drink, so.
Yeah. How often do you go?
Well, it used to
Once
be.
a year.
It used to be. It used to be every other week I'd go, but I got lazy.
Did you?
Yeah.
What's the maintenance on that? You got to be in there once every other 3 days or what?
It's like every 2 months, every 3 months. So
That's
go
not
go
bad.
pay a nice little $30 for a
$30?
haircut. Yeah, get a 1, do a 3 on the sides.
Yeah.
Maybe a little trim on the back. That's about it.
So $75 versus $30.
Yep.
What's the difference like in the experience? Is it like a different part of town? Is it like what's like that extra 40 getting you?
Okay. So when I go, I get a hot towel, I get a beard cleanup,
Okay.
I get a trim, and I get a cut.
Okay.
So I get the hot towel experience, I
Yeah.
get my beard lined up, my
Okay.
fade, my haircut, product,
Yeah.
and then he offers me bourbon, but I don't drink, so I turn that one down every
Yeah.
time.
So you're getting like a whole combo package. You're not just getting a haircut in and all.
Yeah, I go to a barber shop. I think
You're getting pampered.
I think Blake goes to a salon.
Okay.
No, I mean, it's Deanna's a barber.
Do you get a hot towel though?
No, I don't care to do all that.
That's the
I
40
like
right
in
there.
and
It's
out,
40.
man.
Yeah.
It's the
I like
40.
in and out. If I could be in and out in 15 minutes, like I don't need you just spray my hair down if you need to.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need the hot towel shit. I don't have a beard, so I'm not
Yeah.
worried about that. I'm just in and out 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Little fade, little lineup, done.
Have you ever tried doing a beard? Have you ever had?
It doesn't work out very well. I get really patchy here and
Oh, really?
section here, so I
Yeah, but you got to get past that.
I don't want to look homeless for 6
So-
months while I try.
So when I was in high school, my senior year, we used to. You guys ever did rolling, like toilet paper rolling for like a rival school or anything? Throw toilet
did that,
paper in
no.
the yards. So for football, EA versus Santa Ma, we have rivalry. I had a stroke. The R word week.
rivalry.
Yes. And we'll go around and we'll TP like other kids' houses. And we went down this one street one night and there was this guy, swear to God, no bullshit. 2:00 in the morning, this dude's building a giant birdhouse underneath his carport in his underwear.
Hell yeah.
So it was we were 3 cars deep. It was my buddy and his little Ranger, me and my Equinox, and then my other buddy in a Suburban, your body style.
Best buddy style there is.
And we pulled in,
No rust.
and the chick actually knew the girl that lived down the road. So we all get out, and this guy comes up and he's like, "What the fuck are y'all doing?" No. And my friend Ashlyn, who knew the girl, was like, "Oh, it's EA Santa Ma week. We're going roll such and such a house." And he was like, "Y'all ain't doing shit. Whatever. Get back in y'all's cars." So we're like, "Okay, dude, we don't want to deal with this." And so we got back in the cars. We go to leave. Well, my buddy Jesse and his Ranger takes off first, and I go second, and then the guy in the Suburban was last. When we rounded the corner, this guy's in the middle of the road with a flashlight. Now, at the time, I didn't know how big this flashlight was. And you could fact check all this. There's all kind of friends of mine that'll attest to this. So we round the corner. Jesse goes around him this way, and the guy ends up on this side of him. So when I try to go around, when I went around, the last thing that I saw was light, no light, light, no light, light, no light. And then I woke up in a hospital bed with 3 Ascension Parish police officers and a doctor stitching up my chin. And I'm wearing a white East Ascension sweatshirt. I have the picture on my Instagram still, so I'll screenshot it and get Caden to insert it. It may be too gory for some people, but covered in blood, just covered in blood. So when I came to, I was like freaking out, and the doctor's like, whoa, like don't move. They finished stitching me up, and they immediately put me in handcuffs, and they took me out to the hospital, and all my friends are sitting in the waiting room, and they're like, "Oh my God, like he's alive, he's not dead." And so they take me to the sheriff's office, which was right down the road, and I'm sitting in this little room, and I don't know if anybody that's listening has ever been into like, not jail, but like an office in the sheriff's office, or
Yeah, it's
anything.
very weird.
Holding cell type deal.
Not even a holding cell. I was
Not
in
the
somebody's
Yeah,
office.
it's really
really?
weird.
It was freezing cold, and it was the weirdest, eerie feeling in the world. Like your whole world is crashing down.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, and I got stiff. My mouth is just numb. I'm sitting there, and this guy walks in, and he's like, "All right, we're gonna explain everything that happened tonight." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." Well, I heard a door open, and I heard crying, and then I heard a door shut, and I was like, "Man, somebody's getting the bad end of the stick." So the guy's talking to me, and he's like, "So we have your buddy Jesse in the other room," and I was like, "Oh shit, that's who was crying." Unbeknownst to me, I didn't know Jesse had like some kind of pending warrant or something. And apparently, when he went around the guy called the cops and said that somebody just hit him. So he was trying to say that my buddy clipped him in the leg. Well, once again, I still have no idea what's going on, because now it's 4:00 in the morning. And I'm sitting in this office, and I'm like, "Officer, I have no idea what's happening right now. Like, I just got stitched up. You guys brought me over here. Can you tell me what's happening?" He's like, "Okay, this is what we've heard. Your buddy clipped this guy. He ran him over with his truck." Now, he said ran him over with his truck. You know how police officers do. He's like, "Oh, he ran him over with his truck. When you went to pass him, there was an object thrown, and it hit you." And I was like, "Okay, well, what happened?" Because I'm driving. Apparently, my buddy Raju that was in the passenger seat, and my buddy, I think his name was Tyler because he was one of Raju's friends. I think his name was Tyler, was in the back seat. He threw the flashlight, and it was one of the like big mag light flashlights.
Like one like I have in my truck.
Exactly, and it hit me in my chin and knocked me clean out.
Oh,
So they had to
Good
pull.
aim.
They had to pull me out of the driver's seat. Raju had to get in the driver's seat, and they drove me to St. Elizabeth's Hospital. I was done.
good aim, dude. Wow.
We're
So-
talking like a D battery.
Oh,
mag
talking
light?
about 4D battery Maglite.
That's
nice
never
little
had
10-pound light.
Oh, dude, clean out. Phew, lights out. So we had to go to court. We went to court 3 separate times because the guy was suing my buddy or pressing charges against my buddy, and then I was pressing charges against him. Because at the time I was only 17, so that was assault on a minor. The 2 times we went to court, he didn't show up. So the judge, now this time it was Judge Lambert, who she was very well known around Central Parish for being just strict, like would throw the book at you and did not care. The 3rd hearing, our case number got called. We went up and she said, if Mr. Such and Such does not show up in 5 minutes, I'm throwing everything out.
Yeah.
And sure enough, 5 minutes went by. The guy never showed up. So we were like, okay, like whatever. Nothing ever happened. Yeah. But ever since then, I've always had a scar right here on my chin. And I was just like Blake, I always said, like, whenever I try to grow a beard, that one spot would never grow. And then one day I was like, I'm just going to let it go and see what happens. And then all of a sudden, one day, just hair started popping up. Boop, 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 boop.
Shit.
I was kind of lost in where this started from, to be honest. And it just came full circle, and I kind of remember everything now.
See,
So.
that's how you know
Yeah.
that you're really good, when you could take a story.
You took it all the way
Take
back
a story,
on, dude.
confuse everybody in the process, lose full sight of what's happening, and at the very end, you loop back to the beard.
Exactly. It always comes back.
So we got how your beard became what it is today. We got tennis. We got theater.
Yeah.
We got some cool voices.
Yeah.
So once you entered the adult world of work, what was after high school? What was your first step into working for money, dude?
So, continued school
Okay.
after high school.
Yeah.
Everybody always said, like, you would never go to college and everything, which I didn't even think I was going to college.
Hell yeah.
But this is where the sports kind of came back into play,
Yeah.
weirdly enough. So when I was graduating high school, I was actually one of the kids that I had to sit down with the guidance counselor my senior year, and she told me, like, if you don't, hit such and such, like, you are going to fail and you're not going to graduate. Mm-hmm. And so I took remedial math my senior year. I took a remedial English, which is like I'm in class with freshmen.
Wow.
Like stupid math, dumb math. Literally 2 + 2 = 6 math. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that is some pretty dumb math there.
Exactly. But now this was right whenever all the I can't remember what it's called, but they started that core shit where like everything's super hard nowadays. It was right whenever that core shit started. So my senior year was really hard. Barely graduated. I think I had like a 2.6 or 2.7 GPA.
That's not bad.
And I was like, I don't want to do any schooling after this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm done. I had to do extra credit classes and all kind of shit. I was like, school is not for me. I never thought it was. I'm not big on, I was even the guy that standardized tests, like the Loupe or whatever. I had to have the lady read the questions to me.
Oh, really?
Because like I'd be reading a question and I would get stuck for 10 minutes on that one question, just trying to read the question. So I had to have a lady read it to me. Never made me feel stupid, but it was just like an internal thing of like, I don't want to go through this shit again. No. So never been really book smart, but graduated high school. And I remember we had a tennis match against Dutchtown. And this guy came talk to me after. And he was like, hey, I'm such and such. I am the athletic director for the Louisiana College in Pineville for the Wildcats. And I was like, oh, hey, nice to meet you or whatever. And he's like, hey, I've been following you. You're really good, da-da-da-da-da. And they offered me a full ride scholarship to Louisiana College in Pineville for tennis.
Yeah.
And at that time, I'm like, I've never heard of Louisiana College, but I hear full ride scholarship. So let me try this out. And at that time, because at 17, I moved out of my grandmother's house. And I just started living with friends, sleep on couches, sleep on random mattresses that they had, open guest rooms, whatever. And at the time, I was living with a friend of mine, Austin. I was living with his parents, and I had a street bike. I had a Gixxer 750.
Ooh.
And I had told them, like, hey, I want to go to college and everything. They were the type of people that they didn't like me having stuff like that, you know, because I was all up into motocross. I had dirt bikes. I had a Raptor 660 four-wheeler, boarded out to a 686, used to go race it and everything. I was real big into that. And they always thought I was going to kill myself. And they told me, if you're going to go to college, the only way you'd have a home to come back to is if you got rid of that street bike. Because college was 3 hours away. It was up north Louisiana. So I had a decision to make. And, you know, this is what I tell Aiden all the time. It's something that I kind of preach because I lived it. Still to this day, I'm 30 years old, and I regret the decision of listening to those people influence my decisions. Still to this day, I want another street bike, like bad.
Really?
Yeah, because as soon as I got rid of it, you know, I got a little 1992 Isuzu truck, drove it up there, the fucking motor blew. I had no transportation up there. I'm 3 hours away from home, so now I'm stuck living up there in the dorms. Had to get a dorm room, all kind of stuff. So it's just one of those mental things, like, you know, even if you think somebody's going to be unsafe, I know a lot of people care and everything, but just remember for yourself, like, whatever decision you make right now, in 5 years might be the wrong decision, and it wasn't your decision to make. You let outside influences, you know, control your decision. So just take that with a grain of salt.
That's why I will never stop gambling.
No, 100%. Like, and I mean, whether you're joking or not, like, it's true. Like, if I'll mess with you all the time, like, gambling's an addiction, you know, you'll lose all your money, but don't ever let anybody's outside influences influence your decision. It's like if I tell Brent, dude, you're the worst tenor I've ever seen in my life. Like, you should stop tenning. He should keep going. Don't listen to anything. Now, I'm not saying that some people don't have good advice or even great advice, but sometimes it may not be the advice that is for you. It may just be their feelings trying to project onto you.
Sometimes you got to choose your happiness over logic. Dude.
100%.
You know?
Yeah.
So it might not be the most logical, but at least I'm fucking happy.
Exactly. It may not be logical that I have a video on Instagram and be doing 120 miles an hour around a curve while my best friend videos.
Oh, God.
But it was
I
fun as shit. I'll tell you that. Yeah, exactly.
Still here to tell the stories.
Surprisingly enough.
Doing all right so far.
Yeah. So, went up to college in Pineville, full ride tennis scholarship. And
What was the major?
marketing.
Marketing. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Big marketing. I mean, obviously you do a lot of it now. So
that's my full-time job now. But funny enough, kind of going a little bit back into high school, and I'll kind of tag her in Facebook and stuff, but I have to give a real big shout out to a teacher of mine, my junior and senior year. Her name is Miss Rennie Diaz, and she was a marketing teacher. She was my marketing teacher. And I remember sitting in that class, and she would tell us, she taught us everything, graphic design, commercials, you know, why commercials are 30 seconds, you know, to grab attention and everything. She showed us pictures of her traveling the world, doing different stuff, how she got into marketing and everything. And it really struck a chord with me. And, you know, when I got the opportunity to go to college, I was like, if I went to college for anything, it would either be acting, like theater, pursuing that further, or it would be marketing because it's just so fun. Like it's like acting in theater, but you could build a career out of it.
Yeah.
You know, instead of chasing a dream, you could build a career. So went to college. My major was going to be that. And this is where the story kind of gets interesting because when I got to college, tennis is like the first sport of the year, but tennis is kind of like all year round, but baseball has its seasons. Well, tennis starts as soon as baseball does. Yeah. And when I got up there, there was a giant gym. Like, we're in the middle of nowhere, Louisiana, dude, off the interstate. And there's on campus a giant public gym. And we had access to it and everything. And we worked out, and baseball guys were working out at the same time that us tennis people were. Yeah. And, you know, some of the baseball guys, the baseball field and the tennis courts were kind of close to each other. And I remember the baseball guys coming over and just kind of watching us. And now in tennis, you know, you got one swing and then you got a backswing. So from playing tennis, hitting backswing actually made me really good at switch hitting in baseball. So I could bat left-handed or right-handed. And one of the baseball guys, you know, we were just all shooting the shit after. Now you got to remember at this time, you know, I smoked cigarettes, everything like that. I drank. So this was a Baptist Christian college. So I was scared to do anything. But when I saw this guy light up a cigarette, I was like, oh, you know what? Let me get one. He smoked Marlboro Lights. And so we're smoking cigarettes. We're just shooting the shit. And he goes, man, you ever play baseball? And I was like, dude, my entire life. And then I told him about the high school stuff. I like, if you didn't have money falling out your pocket, you couldn't play high school ball. And he was like, man, I came from the same kind of thing. He's like, do you want to come hit around with us and play with us? And I was like, yeah, dude, for sure. So I went to, they practice on Thursdays. So I went to a Thursday practice and, you know, hit a couple balls and went played shortstop a little bit. And the coach was super impressed.
Yeah.
And he was like, do you want to play with us? And I was like, well, shit. Like, I got a full ride tennis scholarship, so I have to play tennis. Like, I can't play baseball. And he goes, no, I could transfer.
No shit.
And I was like,
That's cool.
okay. So I transferred and I stopped playing tennis and I went and played baseball. And I played a little bit of the season because I ended up leaving college. It just wasn't for me because I found out, and this is something that they don't tell you in high school or anything. When I got into college, I thought that I was just going to go straight into whatever I wanted to do. Like, I'm in college now. Teach me about life, what I want to do. No, guess what I was doing again?
What?
Math, social studies, English, biology. And I was like, I am not, no. And there was the little counselor lady who gave me my curriculum and everything. I was like, why am I here? What am I doing? No. And she was like, oh, well, you have to take your general studies, like all your prerequisites and everything before you get into your major. And I was like, y'all might as well just make a 13th grade. Don't call this ain't college. Leave me in high school for another year and then let me come to college.
Yeah,
like, that's so stupid. So like half a semester in, I ended up leaving, you know, said my goodbyes. I made a lot of good friends. I made a friend for life. I actually still have one of my friends who joined the Air Force. Nice. And he's stationed in Japan. So I always keep up with him on Snapchat. You know, I look at his Snap Maps and he's over there at the, I think
it's always so cool to me.
Oh yeah,
Snap
100%.
Map stuff, yeah.
The Snap Maps, because I mean, Snapchat got weird because when I was in high school, Snapchat came out.
Yeah.
And it was always like a weird thing because people used it for derogatory stuff. But nowadays, literally the only thing I use Snapchat for nowadays is literally just to talk to them because it's so quick. It's such a quick communication. Like if I want to send them something fast and send it to a bunch of people, instead of texting in a group, I could just take a picture of myself and just shoot it out to them.
Or just shoot a quick video. It's so convenient.
Video or whatever.
I think I use Snapchat more than anything else. I actually have several customers on Snapchat, and it's the easiest way to communicate. Because they can just send me a picture. Hey, I need something like this. Cool, done. On it.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're cool, like what I'll do is I like to link stuff in the description for stuff we're talking about. So, like, I'll put my Snapchat and stuff up and everything. So, if people want to, you know, shoot the shit or whatever, check out my stories. I post a lot of stuff on Snap stories, Facebook stories, Instagram stories, everything. So, I'll put up all my socials and everything on the podcast at the end. But yeah, it was super fun. Left halfway through the semester, had to say my goodbyes. I learned a lot in just half a semester of going to college.
Yeah.
Just life stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like what I wanted to do, life shit. And then came back home. And on the way home was kind of when it set in, like, okay, I was in school and I had a job up there. I worked at Buffalo Wild Wings in Alexandria. Because let me tell you, if you're in college and you ain't got a job and you're 3 hours away from home, you're on your own, buddy. Like, you're on your own. Nobody's giving you money. You know what I'm saying? Makes sense. Had to go find a job. Got a job at Buffalo Wild Wings, bus tables for a little bit. And then whenever I left, it kind of sank in on the way home. Like, dude, when I get home, what am I going to do? Like, school's now over. Now I'm starting life. Yeah. So what should I do? And the negative but good thing is, in the state of Louisiana, you know, if you know people, if you have friends, you could always go into the plants. You could always go into the trades, whether it's electrical work, millwright, you know, boilermaker, whatever the case may be. You could find a job in the plants.
There's always work.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Always work somewhere. Yeah. That's why it's crazy when people say, like, there's no work around. Hey, dude, I'm telling you, I could leave this job right now and I'll have a job tomorrow.
Just it might not be work you like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
It's not going to be work you like, but, hey, it's money. So when I got home, I was like, what am I going to do? So my mom had a friend who was a safety guy for a company called Triad. It was an electrical company. Yeah. And he was like, hey, I can get you a job. It's going to be, they call it 410s. So you work Monday through Thursday. You're off Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You work 10 hours a day. So he's like, it's 410s. It's at a plant called Motiva. It's right there off Highway 70. Should be gravy. So I started there when I was 18, and I worked there for years. And then after that, I started realizing, like, hey, the more people I talk to in this industry, in this plant, if I ever quit this job, like, dude, I know people. Yeah. Like, I would talk to foremans with other companies. I'd be in the smoke pen. There'd be an old guy named, like, Joe or something. And I would just be bullshitting with him. And he'd be like, oh, man, who you work for? I'm like, oh, try it. And he's like, oh, man, I'm with Turner, man. Whatever. Just shooting the shit with him. So that way, and I would ask him, hey, how high up are you? What do you do? What's your job description and everything? And a couple of times I would talk to foremen just so that way I would know if I wanted another job or this job was ending or something. I'd go talk to Peter and say, hey, man, y'all hiring? Oh, yeah, dude, we just had some guys quit. Man, let me just get my paperwork done and I'll just transfer you to your crew. Yeah. It would be a whole different, contractor. It'd be going from Triad to Turner or Excel to whoever, but, it was super easy because that's how the plants work. Yeah. So I did that for years, man. I worked in the plants doing electrical work for, from 18 to 21. And then there was 2 years where I stopped because I got into drinking real bad. I got addicted to alcohol. Sure. And I worked at a local daiquiri shop. Whenever we'd leave the plant, we'd go to the daiquiri shop. I would drink, and I drank at the daiquiri shop so much after work every day, I ended up working there.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. The girl asked me for a job.
Was it one of the drive-through ones?
Yep.
No shit.
Yep.
So were you the one taping the lids? So you
Hell yeah.
Out the window and shit?
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Yep. Can't crack the beers. You got to, what? I've seen some crazy stuff, dude. The craziest thing, when I worked at the daiquiri shop, so we used to do $19 gallons on Sundays.
Holy smokes.
Sunday, bud.
20 bucks.
Get a nice gallon of daiquiri on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Ripped.
Especially during crawfish season. Oh, bro, the amount of people come and buy gallons of daiquiris.
Okay.
You got me excited,
to go to crawfish bowls.
Crawfish and daiquiris.
Oh, yeah.
Get excited.
So one time I was working, and I ended up, this is how bad I was on alcohol. I loved working there so much. I gave all my effort. I became the assistant manager.
No shit.
In a year and a half.
Wow.
Over there. Yeah, it was crazy. I loved it.
Crazy.
So I could drink whenever I want. And I was the one to tell me something. You got to stop drinking. Pop open a drink. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
That's how bad it was. Alcohol will get you. But I remember one Sunday, it was so funny. This lady came in the drive-thru, sweet looking old lady. And she's like, hey, I need 4 gallons. And I was like, okay. Went made her everything she wanted. And she hands me a card, and I stick it in the machine and everything. And now, cards nowadays, when you give somebody a card, you don't really have to sign it. They just put a pin in or whatever, and then they just give you your card back. Yeah. Well, back in the day, you had to give them a receipt and say, hey, sign this. I need it back.
Yeah.
So it printed out 2 receipts, and I look, and I was like, oh. And I kind of took my phone out, and I took a picture. I gave her the receipt, and this guy, I had a regular that was sitting at the bar, and I can't remember his name, so I'll just call him Jeff. But I was like, hey, Jeff, you know who just came through the drive-thru? And he's like, man, who's that? I said, that was the Catholic Diocese. And he's like, what? So at the Catholic churches, they got the Catholic Diocese or whatever. Yeah. And on the receipt, it said Catholic Diocese at the bottom. So it was the church getting 4 gallons of daiquiris.
Oh, my God.
And I had posted it on Facebook at the time. And I had so many, not hate comments, but people just telling me, basically, you're an idiot. Like, oh, you're such an idiot. You don't know that Catholics can drink, da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, whoa. Yeah. Oh, the alcoholics are coming out. Watch out. Holy crap, But I just thought it was the funniest thing. I knew Catholics and stuff could drink, but 4 gallons for the Catholic Diocese? They having a party.
Hey.
It was funny.
On a Sunday, baby.
Exactly.
Should have just made it a 5 gallon, gave him a pail.
That's what I'm saying.
Get the extra gallon.
Yeah. I asked her if she wanted the 5-gallon drums that we get. Yeah. But she didn't want all that. She didn't want that. So, yeah, that was fun. Did that for 2 years. And then I decided to go back into the plants. And I did the plants from 22 to 25 or 26. So from 18 to about 26, I was in the plants.
Okay.
Just grunt work, dude. Mm-hmm. Back breaking, grunt work, man hands, everything. And
how are the hands now? Are they looking?
They are soft and silky smooth.
Soft as baby shit.
No kidding.
Baby shit. Yeah, I'm telling you, these things are soft.
Yeah. They look soft from over here.
Very soft. Yep.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Use lotion and like moisturizer stuff to
Every
keep them
day.
crispy.
Every day.
That's crazy to me.
He's never going back.
Nope. Never going back.
Never going back.
Never going back. Ever. I gave that up. So from 18 to 25, did that. And then for 3 years, I I've always been into working on vehicles, like building trucks, lowering trucks, lifting trucks, whatever, anything that has a motor, I love working on it. So that 26-year-old stage, I went and did heavy equipment diesel work. So I worked on track loaders, 18-wheelers, side-by-sides, cranes, all kind of shit.
Yeah, we talked about the cranes and shit last time I was here, I remember.
So I worked for a company called Smith Tank and Steel, and what they did was they built, big tanks that held either like oil or, chemicals or anything in the plants.
Yeah.
And what we would do is we would just go out there, and if the guy called and said, hey, man, my crane's, not booming up or whatever, we'd go out there, fix it for him, service it, all that stuff. Messed with motors on them, Caterpillars, Deutz, Detroit diesels in the, in the 18-wheelers and everything. Yeah. So I did that for 3 years of my life, which was a lot of travel. Yeah. And that was whenever me and my current fiance got together, was when I was traveling a lot. So I'd be a week in Louisiana and then a week somewhere across the country, whether it be Denver, Colorado, West Virginia, Kentucky, Wisconsin, Missouri, Idaho, wherever in the country that we had tanks being built and our equipment was at, we had to go out there. And we rotated. So I'd be a week here, another mechanic would be out in the field. And then he'd come back for a week, and then I would go out into the field. And so I did that for 3 years. And it was super fun, being able to visit different parts of the country. I was actually in Wisconsin for, I think it was in either October or November in 2017, I want to say. Very beautiful up there.
Yeah.
A lot of country roads, small towns. Oh, yeah. It was nice. Nice up there. Actually, I used Waze. And when I put Waze was the only one that could ever tell me where a plant was actually located. Because like Texas has county roads and all that. And so like Apple Maps and Google Maps obviously can't, they don't know that shit exists. So when I'd go to places like Wisconsin, Idaho, Colorado and stuff with like little country roads, I would use Waze because it would actually tell me. And I remember whenever we went to Wisconsin, there was a plant and it was literally like you'd be driving down this road and all of a sudden it was like, take a right. And we went down this dirt road and there was just like 3 tanks. That was it. That was the whole plant. And it was like, what's even going through over here? Like, what are y'all storing over here? Yeah. And so we went over there, we messed with a crane and then just drove back home.
Nice.
And so it was a lot of drive time, but it took a toll on our relationship a lot. She found out she was pregnant. I was still traveling. It was super hard. So right after COVID, wants to know what part of Wisconsin. I can't remember, but it was. So we left the upper.
It was like Wausau or something.
I don't remember. I could look at it on my maps, but it was. So we left the upper part of Denver, and we had to go to Wisconsin, but it was very low Wisconsin. It was right over the state line. It was a small little town. I would say left corner of Wisconsin. Okay. I can't remember the name of the town, but I could definitely, if I looked at Google Maps, I'd be able to tell you where it's at. Yeah. But it was South Wisconsin area. Okay. But yeah, went up there, and these plants, we're literally in them for like 5 minutes. Sometimes we would drive in the plant, and the guy would be like, "Oh, I got the machine cranked back up. Don't need y'all." And so we'd turn around.
Oh shit! Just drive all the way back.
Drive all the way back home. Oh shit. Yeah.
So tell me, how do you go from that to GeoShield? Like, where did that transition happen?
So
that's a huge jump in lifestyle.
So COVID happened.
Okay.
And I feel like that's COVID for a lot of people was real bad. COVID for me was great because I didn't like where I was at in life. Like I said, I went to college for marketing. I've always wanted to do something like that, whether it be theater, acting, marketing, being behind a camera, doing YouTube videos, being super famous, behind the screen. And COVID happened, and my boss said, because we traveled. And so mind you, like with us traveling, that was obsolete. We were one of those industries that you just cannot go to work. So my boss said, hey guys, we got to close down. Like we are shut down. So you either got to go find another job or you collect unemployment.
Yeah.
Funny enough, my unemployment was $892 a week.
That's pretty good.
And I was only making $1,200 a week. Yeah. So I was like,
that's pretty solid.
Yeah.
I'm good. Like I'm set up. So I just collected unemployment. And dude, when I tell you took a toll on our relationship, me and Kayla, my fiance, I was playing Call of Duty every day.
Just all day long.
All day long. Because she was in a dental field.
You do that still. But.
I do that still. But it's at night after my job. You know, this was literally wake up, play Call of Duty, have Coke cans all on side of me. She would come home pregnant from work while COVID's happening. And she would just be like, what are you doing?
You were full on mama's basement mode.
Full on mom's basement mode.
Yeah.
Straight up. Just everything. Did not care about anything. Yeah. And there came a point where even though I was making money every week, there just came a point where she was like, you know, hey, look, something's got to give. Like, you have to find something. Because COVID is now kind of dwindling down. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, I'll start looking for stuff or whatever. And I did the whole, you know, I hit up my buddies in the plant, and they were like, hey, look, you know, we're not really hiring anybody. COVID's still a thing. They were having a test, like, whenever you go into the plant. Like, no matter if you were there the day before, they were swabbing you.
Oh, wow.
And shit. So he's like everybody I called were like, oh, we're on COVID restrictions. We're on COVID restrictions. Yeah. We're on COVID restrictions. Can't go work anywhere. So I was like, okay, that's out. So what can I do? So I went to, there's places, and they probably have these in Wisconsin, but it's kind of like a find you a job center.
Oh, yeah. Like a temp agency.
A temp agency.
Yeah, yeah.
So I went to a temp agency. There's one on Highway 30. And the lady was like, oh, you know, they got this job and that job. But once again, most of it was, oh, you can't work. COVID. We're not hiring. COVID. Yeah. And I was like, dude, what am I going to do, bro? Like, luckily, I'm still collecting $892 a week unemployment. Yeah. And then on top of that, we just got the stimulus check shit for like $2,500 or whatever it was, $1,200, whatever.
So you're just rich now.
So I'm just rich, dude. I'm like, oh my God, I could buy more Cokes in Baja Blast. Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah. So it was. I had some leftover money. Kayla's got a job still, and I was like, what am I gonna do? So then I seen there's a Facebook group called Southern Slammed Association. It's all lowered trucks that are from South Louisiana.
Nice.
And Cubby had shared his personal Facebook post onto that page, and it basically just said, hey guys, you know, I'm looking for warehouse work, not just a worker, but looking for warehouse work. DM me for, you know, inquiries or whatever. Yeah. And I'd known Cubby prior because he built a truck called Boosie. It was a turboed new body style truck, which is like the 08 to 13 body style truck. Okay. Bagged and bodied on the ground. And I had met him at Sick Nick, which is a car show that used to happen here locally. But it doesn't happen anymore. I met him there, and at this point, Cubby had hair.
No kidding.
Crazy thought.
I got to see a picture of this.
Cubby had hair.
Yeah.
All right.
So I had been knowing Cubby just from the truck scene and everything. Yeah. And so when I seen him make the post, I was like, let me hit him up, just see what this job is. I knew he worked for a company called GeoShield. I had no idea what the fuck GeoShield was. Yeah. Because you got to think, like, COVID is still a thing. Nobody's really talking about stuff. All I knew was Cubby was looking for people to work. And he said warehouse work. And I'm like, shit, maybe it's kind of like the plants.
Easy enough.
Easy enough. Easy. You know what I'm saying? So I hit him up, sent him a DM. Yo, I'm desperately looking for work. Like, what do you got? And he's like, oh, right by my house. And we'll talk about some stuff. So I pull up, and I'll never forget. Cubby's out there in, you know, flip-flops and those cargo, you know.
I think they're attached to him.
I'm pretty sure Cubby wakes up in cargo khaki, cargo camouflage shorts every morning.
And flip-flops with the Window Film Pros
with the Window Film Pros t-shirt. Okay. But I pulled up, and it was a buddy of mine that I knew, Shay Wing, and he was getting an engine from Cubby. So I'm shooting the shit with Shay, and mind you, I knew Cubby, but I didn't talk to Cubby like that. Like, we weren't really friends at the time.
Just acquaintances.
Just acquaintances. Yeah. And so, you know, I shook his hand. He kind of told me about the work. He was like, "Oh, you know, we're hiring for warehouse guys. Like, you know, can you lift this much? Can you da-da-da? Still hasn't told me what GeoShield is.
Yeah.
Just was looking for people to come to work.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, dude, I can lift over 50 pounds, no problem, whatever. And he's like, okay, cool. Well, you're hired. Start Monday. Help us load this engine into the back of Shay's truck. And I was like, okay, whatever. Didn't tell me like what I should wear. Nothing. He didn't even give me the address at
That
first.
happened to me too.
No shit.
When I started here, yeah.
Really?
I came my first day wearing slacks and a button-up shirt to fold boxes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
That's awesome.
I
Well,
didn't-
they don't tell you. How do you know?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
dress to
that's what I'm
impress.
saying.
Second day was slides and t-shirt and shorts though.
Yeah.
But first day, yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Lord.
Absolutely.
So,
you
yeah.
got hired.
Got hired. Didn't tell me the address or nothing. So I had to hit him back up and was like, hey, I'm starting Monday, but you didn't give me the address. He's like, oh, shit, whatever. So he sent me the address and everything. So I put on my pants, my FR pants, because that's the only pants I had at the time. I wasn't really big on jeans.
Yeah.
So I had my FR pants on, my Ariat boots, steel toes.
Oh, yeah.
I put on a nice T-shirt. And, I always wear a hat. So I had my hat on, my safety glasses and everything. Because I'm thinking warehouse, we're about to be around forklifts.
Yeah.
We're about to be around objects that could drop on you, everything. So I just came prepared. So I pull up to the address, and it is at LSU, off-campus LSU. But it's at LSU's Innovation Parkway. And it is now at first, it was a giant building. I'm like, whoa, like this is a huge warehouse. Like this is cool.
Yeah.
So the address is taking me in. We drive and we go around the back and I pull up and there's a little brown building behind the big building. And it was like, you have arrived. And I was like, what the fuck? Now at the time, I knew one of the girls that worked there because she drove a lifted Tahoe and I just knew who she was.
Yeah.
So I was like, this got to be the place, but like it looks super small to be a warehouse. So I get out my truck, I get, my Monster ready, and her vehicle's the only one there. So I went and knocked on the door and she opens it and I was like, hey, I'm here to work. And she's like, oh, okay, like let me get you set up with a time clock. So, when I walked in, there was literally one little plastic like Rubbermaid rack. And it had a couple T-shirts and 2 squeegees on it. And there was like old saloon style doors, that, Wild Wild West, pow, 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 walk into. And there was one little office. And in the back, there were a couple racks with a couple boxes of film and one cut machine and a table. And that was it. And I'm like, what is this place? It was like walking into Narnia.
Yeah.
I was like, what is happening right now? So the girls like put in all my information and everything. And I was like, where's the warehouse? I was like, am I at the right place? And she goes, no, yeah, this is it. And I was like, this is GeoShield. And she's like, yeah, this is it. And I was like, what is this place? So, she gets me all ready. And then a couple guys start showing up. Mind you, I got there at 7:30. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning, and these guys just start showing up. And they're like, hey, good morning, punching their time clock. Yeah. They're going to grab stuff and everything. And I'm like, what is happening right now? Can anybody explain to me where I'm at right now? When do I get paid? Do you guys just do lunch whenever? It's 10 in the morning. Should I have showed up later? I'm like, what is going on right now? So, after 4 days of doing that, I just kept showing up at 7:30. No bullshit. I would show up at 7:30 in the morning and just stand around.
No shit.
I think some of the dudes didn't even know my name until the next week.
Really?
Yeah, 100%. Because one guy sold his father owns this like specialty meat company, LeBlanc's. You should know the name.
I've heard of them, yeah.
So there's a meat company down here called LeBlanc's, and they sell like sausage, all that stuff. And the guy would leave on Tuesdays and Thursdays at like noon. Oh, I'm going to sell sausage for my dad, and just like roll out.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, these guys didn't even know my name till a weekend. So I just kept doing my thing. Never seen Cubby one time till the next week. I came into work. And at this point in GeoShield's life, mind you, I still have no idea what's going on. So at this point in GeoShield's life, we're getting over COVID and everything. So there would literally be, a handful of orders. There would be like 3 pieces of paper. So finally I was like, you know what? I'm going to take stuff into my own hands, whatever. So I started asking this guy, I'm like, hey man, what's going on here? And he was like, oh, we're just filling orders and everything. And I was like, oh, okay, but what are we doing? And he was like, oh, this is GeoShield. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is GeoShield, but what is happening right now? And so they gave me the whole spiel, and finally, Cubby had walked in, and he was like, hey man, how are you liking it? How's your first week? And I was like, well, first off, I came here in steel-toe boots and pants the very first day. You didn't tell me none of that. I could have came in t-shirt and shorts.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just kind of interested in, you said it was a warehouse, but what's happening or whatever. So he gave me the whole rundown about how GeoShield started. Burns graduated from LSU School of Business. They offer business graduates, spots on campus to start their own business at a substantially lower rent rate and everything.
Sure.
And I was like, okay, now it's all making sense. We're a film manufacturer and distributor, all this stuff. And then, like I said, COVID was happening. So there wasn't really a lot of people ordering anything at that point in time. You would think there were, because everybody's stuck at home.
Yeah.
Amazon stock market's booming. Everything's booming. Well, they had already purchased this building, but we hadn't moved into here yet. And so I started November 21st in 2021 or 2020. I can't remember exactly which one. And so we got into this building, and I remember Burns had asked me, what I wanted to do. And that's when my life kind of came full circle.
Yeah.
Because I'd started just filling orders. I was making boxes. I was filling orders, everything like that or whatever. And Burns had asked me one day, he said, I really like your work ethic, how you kind of push yourself, how you want to do more, everything. He's like, what do you want out of this company? And I was like, to be honest, because you got to remember, there's no social media. There's no, Burns & Company had Facebook, obviously, but there's other avenues that they just were not interested in yet. And I was like, honestly, I want to be in social media. I really want to make videos and stuff for GeoShield. Yeah. And he was like, do it. And I was like, really? And he goes, do it. Just do whatever you need to do.
Oh, shit.
And so I just started doing it. I came up with, now at this time, Carlos was doing, the Texas Squeegee and all that stuff. And then Montana had Sheriff Tent Right and everything. Okay. So I said, you know what? Let me make a character. And then I'll start posting on social media and seeing how much attention it gets.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what can I be? And so at this point, we had just released our Apex 50%.
Okay.
And Burns was like, we were shooting the shit with each other, and he said, what if you were like a lawyer, like GeoShield's lawyer? Yeah. And I was like, that sounds interesting. I said, but let's level it up. What if I just came from New York and I was in the mob?
Yeah.
And my getaway story is that I had to move to South Louisiana.
Yeah.
And I'm GeoShield's attorney now, but I'm the tent attorney. So I'm trying to change my whole. So if somebody from New York calls in and is looking for me in witness protection, they'll never know it's me. So I started thinking, and I was like, man, this guy's he's got to have a name that's similar to his New York name, which my New York name would be Chase Loupe. So I was like, how can I incorporate my New York name with my down South Louisiana alias? So I came up with Lou Pelleretti, which if you take Lou, L-O-U, and then Pelleretti, P-E, Loupe, my last name, and then Elleretti. I just added it for the Italian function at the end of it.
Vibe,
So the mob vibe. Mm-hmm. So that's where Uncle Lou kind of came about. I was like, we'll be Lou Pelleretti, the tent attorney for GeoShield, and he'll still kind of have that New York accent, but he'll be Uncle Lou to all of you. So we'll just get in here, and Apex 50 is not a windshield film. You always got to remember that. It's not. It's not a windshield film. If you put it on a windshield, Uncle Lou does not approve. We don't warranty any of that. So I'm just telling you, make sure you cross all your I's and you dot your T's, or else it's going to be a bunch of gabagoo coming your way. I'm just telling you right now. So, yeah.
I can see why you're good at improv. That's incredible.
So, yeah, that's where Uncle Lou was kind of born. And then, mind you, at this time we had like GeoShield was just getting its feet wet. COVID bumped everything, dude. Once we started making videos, people were kind of researching us and everything, and then we just started booming.
Yeah.
And I was actually one of the first everything here. So I did all inventory, I did ordering, purchasing, I did sales. So when orders would come over that were over $1,000, I would call each one of those people while I was filling orders, just, thanking them for their purchase. Hey, if you need anything else, please give me a call. And then, some of them would be like, oh my God, am I speaking to Uncle Lou? Oh, I can't really let that information out, but if you're willing to keep it secret, I'm willing to keep it secret. How about that? Copacetic, my guy. Yeah, so I would just mess with that, did sales for a little bit, and then, I started moving into social media full time, and ever since then, I've just really enjoyed everything that I do. So it all kind of came full circle for my life. I finally got an opportunity to take all my theater, my marketing that I learned from Ms. Rennie Diaz, amazing teacher.
All the childhood trauma,
everything kind of brought it back, and here I am today. I get to sit behind a camera whenever I want, video, do vlogs, post on YouTube. I get to meet people such as yourself. Oh yeah, everybody in the industry. Yeah. It's been a great time.
That's an incredible story, man. It's almost like not a rags to riches, but it's a hell of a story.
Rags to rags, baby.
Yeah, rags to rags, baby.
To know what you wanted and it to come full circle like that after busting ass for all the years is super cool to see.
Yeah.
And then to be, to see, it's got to feel good to know that you really helped accelerate the growth of, like where GeoShield is today. You had a huge part in that, obviously.
Yeah.
So,
and
it's incredible.
I don't ever take credit. So I'm a big... They always say that my ego is huge, which I do play it off to be. But I don't like taking credit for stuff. I do love being behind the camera. I love, showmanship, showing off, whatever. But as far as like taking credit, I don't ever like taking credit. I'd rather split the credit, which any of these guys will tell you. Like, if we ever do anything, I'll always include everyone. I don't ever say me. Like, it's us. And so Trey always tells me, Trey was a silent owner for years. He's been with GeoShield since 2005. Yeah. But just in recent years, he came back on full time working for the company. And he has always told me, if it wasn't for you, GeoShield would not have grown like it has.
Wow. That's awesome to hear.
And some people, like you would say, it's awesome to hear. But like,
awesome to hear.
To me, it makes me feel, I don't know, it gives me this feeling of like, if I didn't start here, like GeoShield wouldn't be shit. But like, I don't like feeling like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's one of those things inside of me that it's something that I enjoy doing, but I don't like taking the credit for it. Yeah. I can have 500 people come tell me, if it wasn't for you, like GeoShield wouldn't be where it is. But I don't like that. I like saying, if it wasn't for me, Blake, Aiden, Burns, Cubby, Trey, Randy, Caleb, Mia, Caleb, John, all of it. If it wasn't for every single one of us, Brennan, Bryson, anybody in this warehouse, if it wasn't for any of us, GeoShield wouldn't be where it's at.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that, like doing what I do on TikTok and just in general interactions with people. People ask me, some people kind of put me on the spot trying to like test me a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, what is it about GeoShield that, like, why do you use GeoShield, or why'd you choose GeoShield or whatever? Because we talk about the process. People are thinking about switching and stuff. And it's like, aside from the film, the products themselves, what they offer, blah, 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 it comes down to your experience. Because at the end of the day, GeoShield is a vendor to the dealers,
Yeah.
And so that experience on the dealer side of it, versus some of your, publicly traded companies or some of the companies that don't do it quite as well. But walking into this building, the first thing I noticed after meeting all you guys is how cherry-picked this team of people is. Like, you guys are just all incredible at what you do.
Yeah.
You clearly love it. And, like, the story of how you got here, it's like, that's why GeoShield's so different and so valuable, and that different kind of vibe that you get in the industry is because it's just a bunch of normal dudes
Yeah, that's it.
Couple of degenerates mixed in.
100%.
You know,
100%.
And you guys are just fucking killing it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
incredible job.
That's like if I could give anybody like my own life advice.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people because obviously I've been doing this job like marketing and sales for so long with this company now. When new people start, they just assume that I have been doing this.
Yeah.
But I want to tell everybody, I'm the biggest contributor to, dude, I didn't graduate college. I have no degree. There's no degrees hanging up on this wall. And I'm real big about if I get any certifications in anything, whether it be Meta, whatever, I'm putting it on a plaque somewhere because it's just an accomplishment to me.
yeah.
But even for not going to college and not graduating, not having a degree in this field, just the pure want.
Yeah.
Like, I want this and the drive. You can do anything with 1 ounce of drive.
Yeah.
If you want
just gotta
anything.
do it.
Exactly. Just got to do it.
Just got to do it. Hell yeah.
Just get out there.
Well, I can't thank you enough for having me, man. Thanks again for having me back. It was awesome. And I think it's super cool to hear that story. Dude, I learned a lot about you today.
I'm sure everybody's learned a lot about me.
Hell yeah. Well, you guys heard it. Your usual host of the Dark but Legal podcast. Incredible story about where he got where he is today. Super proud of you, dude. I know I'm not like your dad or anything, but
Thanks.
I'll give you one of them. I'm proud of you.
That's what I'm talking about.
Nice work, dude.
I like hearing that.
Hell yeah.
It was great. It was a great time.
Hell yeah. Thanks
I always
for having me,
appreciate whenever you come on. I'm hoping to get, some more people down. I wish some more of our dealers would, we're open door, dude. Open door. We have a lot of people that travel. We just had one recently come. He's from Houston area.
Trey Lamb. Yeah.
Trey Lamb from Houston area. He went to Florida to tent, Miami area. On his drive back, he finally called us on a day that we were open during the day. So he stopped in, and we love that.
We sat out there and talked
love
for
that.
30 or 40 minutes.
Oh, 100%.
You guys are in town, stop in, see the boys here.
Stop
Cheers.
in.
Your boys and girls here at
We're
your show.
never too busy to at least say hello.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, I'm you know what? I'm gonna let you close out your show, sir.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
Well, as always, we appreciate each and one of you for tuning in to this week's episode of the Dark but Legal podcast. This was the takeover episode with Brent Dahlberg. I appreciate all his kind words towards me. I appreciate all the love and support from you guys. As always, we appreciate Blake for joining in on the conversation. I know I spoke a lot this time, but Brent wanted to hear everything. So I laid it all out on the table. But that'll do it for now. We'll see you guys next week on the Dark but Legal podcast.